What's going on, everybody? HolliwoodKole here with WeedDr for another smooth ramblings. What's going on, Weed?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. Another week, so.
Yeah, well, welcome back, dude. We had a good Witcher 3 podcast last time. I really enjoyed that one. And,
Heck yeah, it was awesome.
Got me into the music, man, of The Witcher. I pulled out that soundtrack, and I was jamming out for a couple rides to work and back.
It's just some, man, it's, like I said, it's like it just grabs you, you know. And I'm not even into medieval music, but you know.
Oh yeah, so, dude, it is. It is really enchanting, dude. Yeah. It really is. And then I got back on that game, and that's all I've been playing. We hadn't done a podcast in 2 weeks, and I've been doing nothing but playing Witcher and going there and play a golf tournament every so often.
So right after that, I went back because I had it. You know, what I wish I would have never done was I digitally downloaded the game because I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, and I wish I'd have bought the hard copy. So I went back, and the good thing about it is if you delete it and you reload it, it puts you right back where all your save points were. So I went ahead and deleted all that and started over again after that podcast. I was like, man, there's so much stuff that I just missed after we talked that you were doing and I didn't ever do. So
yeah, like, dude, I started all the way over, man, and I enjoy it, dude. That's like just like you said, if you do different quests, you can do different things, so it's kind of a different experience anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, today we were going to talk about the PlayStation 5 coming out. They haven't officially called it the PlayStation 5, and I thought it'd be a good one for you because you're an Xbox guy. You can't play golf with us because you're an Xbox guy. You can't play Call of Duty with us because you're an Xbox guy. You can't play Borderlands 3. But in all fairness, we switched on you, not vice versa. We were all Xbox 360 guys.
It's like everybody used to roll on Xbox and then everybody left, man.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting because you just see these things happening, man. You see this gaming people making dumb decisions, and it's like, dude, why are you doing that? I have no idea why somebody would do that. Nintendo always kind of goes to the beat of their own drum. You know, they've always done that. Sony seems to be taking that approach as well. Which, by the way, before we get too far into it, we are live on Facebook. This is the first time we've gone live. So if you're hearing this, we're also going to release this as a podcast. You can ask questions from Facebook we'll try to get them as they pop up. It is not a true live stream. I think it's like 10 seconds behind or something. So, but anyway, so just that's the first time we're doing this, but it'll still release on Podbean and Spotify and all this kind of stuff. So we will have a full up podcast as well. But back to the subject at hand. Nintendo marches to the beat of their own drum. PlayStation looks like they are bringing, you know, it's just, man, you'll get what I'm going to talk about here in a minute. So there's a lot of rumors going on about what the next gen PlayStation is going to be, and this is our official things that I'm going to talk about here. This has been confirmed. All right, Mark Kearney is the head architect for the PlayStation 5. He did the PlayStation 4, so we know it's going to be good. And he's also confirmed that it's going to be a true console, next generation console. It's not going to be a little half step like the PlayStation 4 Pro and stuff like that. It's going to be a full up PlayStation 5. They've been working on it for 4 years. AMD is the tried and true CPU graphics processing unit. Get up to 8K resolution. And they got what they call ray tracing, which is just a new basically processing method to where that it basically the way light reflects off of different objects and stuff makes it look very realistic. So that's going to be really good. And then of course they got a 3D audio chip which lets you just kind of have positional sound. So that'll be cool. The big one is the solid state hard drive they have, and they demonstrated it with Spider-Man with a solid state hard drive. And Spider-Man would go to an open world load scene which would take 15 seconds to load. Now with the new PlayStation, it takes 0.8 seconds to load.
Holy crap.
So you're talking about very quick load times here. And so they are going to stay with physical media. This is the big thing. This is the big one. So they're going to stay with the disc. It's going to be backwards compatible with the PS4. All right. And it's not going to come out in 2019. So it's probably going to come out in 2020 or something like that. So they did this strategically because the new Xbox One S, the new version, is cloud-based streaming. game streaming. So if you remember back when PlayStation 4 was announced and the Xbox, and I've said this a million times because it just doesn't, it seems like I'm missing something, but or it seems like, how could this happen? But it really did. Twice, the head guy from Xbox said we would never go streaming, right? We would never go to streaming only, because if anybody had physical media, they would just dominate us and we would be out of the game, right? I've seen it twice where they had said that officially in interviews and stuff like that, the spokesman for Microsoft. And what do you know, when they got ready to come out, they wanted to go digital only, always online, and this whole thing, right? So to me, I was like, well, I'm not going to get in the Xbox because as soon as they get market share, they're going to go to cloud-based streaming, so we stay with the PlayStation. And they had all this other stuff with it, this media center and whatnot. And so with the new Xbox One S coming out with just cloud-based gaming, so I would assume the new one, the Project Scarlet, is the next Xbox. It's almost exact repeat of last year. By the way, all those specs I said for PS4 are almost the exact same in the Xbox Scarlet project as well. So they're going to be the same power. It's just going to be, what company do you want to do business with? Google has their own little thing coming out, not a console, but again, streaming only. All right, so it's safe to assume that Xbox is making the exact same mistakes they made last time, and they're going streaming only. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. What do you think about that? You think anything?
Well, I mean, it's just like, and that, it's kind of perfectly that you led into that, because I just mentioned that I wish I wouldn't have downloaded the digital version of The Witcher and bought the hard copy, because then I had to go back and download the whole thing again. And that is it's kind of like Red Dead. It is a gigantic game, like, once you download the whole thing. So all digital, I'm not really cool with. I'm kind of like you. I like the hard media piece. Because once, like you said, I mean, once that goes offline, and let's say they go to a new system, you're lost. I mean, unless they decide to go and retroactively use your account to bring all your stuff in, that kind of, I'm not real cool with that.
And then even though they have to have a server somewhere, and just
right,
I'm not a IT guy per se, but I did get a master's in IT with web design, and we did databases and cloud-based, the newest thing. And so when you really break down what that is, it's me having a file and you paying me to access my file. I give really nothing to you. I just give you permission to access it. And it's just like, dude, that's just hard for me to wrap my hand around. I got to have something physical. And let me show you. So this is another thing you're going to miss if they decide to go all streaming, which it seems like Microsoft and Google are doing. This game right here. Chrono Trigger. Timeless Super Nintendo game. I can play this game anytime. Trying to make sure it's in the thing.
Oh yeah. You got it.
And it is the exact same game as it was the day it came out. There's no updates. There's none of that. Timeless. Shadowrun. Boom. Another great one. And of course the Final Fantasy 3.
There's a couple of those games that I wish, like, I could go back and grab today. Like, I think of one all the time, and I've never heard y'all mention it on the show, but maybe you have. Sunset Riders. I don't know if you remember that game.
Oh gosh, yeah, dude.
Me and Chris used to play that all the time, and I think, man, if I could just get me a copy of Sunset Riders, I'd play it all the time, because it was terrible. I don't think it was like the best game ever, but it was so much fun playing with 2 players or 3 players.
It was a great game. It's expensive now.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. You can go try to grab it and
yeah.
Jeez, so, I wish I'd have kept it. I think I sold it for like $5 or traded somebody. Oh yeah,
of course, yeah. It's you can emulate them. You can get it off an emulator. Yeah. It's just not the same.
It's not the same. You're right.
It's just not the same. You want to play it the same way it came out, and this is what we're giving up. There's a whole culture in gaming, of collecting, of retro gamers. I mean, all of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s with Super Nintendo and all that. I mean, now we're old enough to buy games, whatever you want to buy. I mean, even this Final Fantasy is probably $60, $40. It's not super expensive now. Chrono Trigger is probably $80. They've kind of gone down in the past, but it's still almost the same as it was when it first came out. But I can play it whenever. When you start going to streaming, you lose that camaraderie of gamers. I mean, it's not just about playing a game. right? It's about
Right.
I mean, like, dude, how many times have I played this Shadowrun? Once. I mean, I have it though. I look at it on the thing,
right?
It's it's just there. How many times have I played Chrono Trigger? I'm playing Witcher 3.
Right.
If I want to play the RPG, but I have it. It's timeless. I now have it in case all PlayStation and everything goes under. Guess what? I still got my games. But it's just a collection culture, and it's just you're doing away with that, and that's what Xbox keeps saying. Oh, we're all about the gamers. We're all about. That's what we're about this time. Just the gamers. We learned our lesson last time, but now we're solely about the gamers. Except you're not. You're about making easy money, and I guess they're trying to lure some developers in. So if you make games for us, we'll just stream it. You don't even have to put any money out for physical media or anything like that.
Right. Well, I mean, and you think about it, they talk about being for gamers, and I think I probably texted you at one point in time or sent you a message like, man, y'all were talking about Oddworld one day. And I was like, dude, don't discount that game. Well, all the Oddworlds, whether, especially the ones that came out on Xbox, was like Munch's Odyssey or Stranger's Wrath, which if you've never played Stranger's Wrath, I don't know if you have, go play Stranger's Wrath. You of all people love that game. It's fantastic. It's one of the coolest first-person shooters ever made.
What is it? Like what's it
so
on? It's a new game?
So, no, it was, they released it on back, gosh, it was probably mid-2000s for Xbox 360. And it was one of the Oddworld games, so it's set in that world. But it's a first-person shooter with this outlaw who's collecting bounties. But he doesn't use regular bullets or anything. He only uses animals he collects. And these animals do certain things, like he shoots spiders and the web comes out, and he shoots these little fur ball things. They're like piranhas on the ground, and they just attack anything that comes by. But you need to go check that game out. So anyway, all that was exclusive content up front on Xbox. Well, they had the original Oddworld stuff was on PlayStation because that's where I played it. Then all that came on Xbox. Well, then Xbox is like, oh, well, since you're not using, our developer, we're not going to publish your stuff anymore. And so that just because they won't, and Lauren Lanning and them are like, who's the guy who invented it, he's like, man, we've got our own developer. We don't need yours. We've got our own system, our own world. That's why we developed this game. So, we just won't use you. And so Microsoft's been at odds with them for years. You can't even retroactively get those games. And some of those two games are two of the coolest games I've ever played. And but like you said, it's not for the gamer. And they just said, oh, you don't use our developer. So, but you can go get all of them on PlayStation, and they're putting them on Nintendo now. And you can get them on PC, every one of the games they made. But Xbox still is like holding out on them. And it's like, it's frustrating because those are two games that I would grab today if I could.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, there's a few games like that. I mean, and that's just, but again, that's kind of the collector aspect of it. I mean,
right.
And you got PlayStation saying we're going physical media, no doubt. We dominated. I mean, what was I used to know the exact, I mean, it's like over 10 to 1 or something. I don't know what the exact ratio is to PlayStation to Microsoft to Xbox, but it's a lot. And they're going to do it again. It usually swings. PlayStation 2 did better than regular Xbox, and then Xbox 360 did better than PS3. PS3 had a lot of network issues, but now PS4 dominated, and now it looks like PlayStation 5 is going to dominate, which they didn't call it PlayStation 5. I don't know what they're going to call it. I'm sure it's going to be PlayStation 5 that would go against.
Right.
They've always just numbered it. But I don't know, man. I mean, to me, that just shows that PlayStation and Nintendo may be the only game in town before long.
It may be. If they keep doing that and, making it to where it's not consumer friendly and you can't go back, I mean, I could see that for sure.
And, but you got Google and you have Bill Gates, though, for Microsoft. And I remember being in film school at Full Sail, and this is when the Xbox came out, and that was in 2003 or 4, maybe 2002. I can't even remember. But I don't know if this guy had credibility or not. But it was the teacher, and he said, "Here's the thing with the Xbox. Bill Gates has so much money that he will start basically forking over his own money before he lets the Xbox fail." So that's what I would. If that's true, that just stuck with me. If that's true, then he's going to be around. Same way for Google, and they're just going to. This is the scary part for us, is that they're going to make this streaming like standard. You know, I don't want it to be standard. I want it to be out the window, and it's like cell phone games.
So let me ask you this. So what do you do in those situations, and especially where you've got, I mean, even today you have trouble with it, but you've got gamers like, you know, my brother or Coastal or any who's really my other brother, but who have terrible internet connections most of the time. I mean, they live in rural areas. A lot of the people I deal with in the Midwest live in a lot of rural areas, don't have very good streaming capabilities. You're eliminating a huge portion of your fan base at that point. Yeah,
that's true. But even the argument is just the technology will catch up eventually. And even the streaming technology is not that good. Right. It's already been, it's just too much lag for fighting games or whatever. But so the argument is, we're ahead of the game. You know, it'll eventually catch up, and they're going to just keep pushing it until it does catch up. If you look at like digital movies, I've never been a digital only guy. Like I was talking about earlier, it just feels like you're just accessing somebody's file. Let me pay you to access your file, and they do these things to where, like, just say Avengers Endgame, before it, and I don't know the dates, but say the physical copy comes out July 15th. Well, they'll starting June 1st, they'll let you buy the digital version only, you know, and it's like, oh, digital's up. It's like you're just taking, it's not side by side going out. You're trying to make it, you're artificially pumping those numbers to make it easier on you, and and I'm afraid they're just going to keep doing this with the Google and Xbox are going to do this. And Xbox has not come out and said we're going to be cloud-based gaming only, but it's safe to say that's what they're going to be.
Okay. So I was just told from someone to check your text messages because they have something to ask.
Oh, you can just write it in the thing. I wonder who it is. Let's see. So this is Clearfire.
Okay.
Look at the amount of exclusives and quality of exclusives that PS put out versus Xbox this gen, and you see who is really for the gamers. That's a very good point.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. And he's the second we talked about it first. Xbox wants to be the center of your media console, where PlayStation wants to be the center of your gaming. That's exactly what they've kind of said again. And it's like a repeat. It didn't work. Maybe this time it'll work. I guess they just try to get ahead of everybody, and they forget they can't see the forest through the trees.
Right.
So
makes sense.
I don't know, man. That's where we're going. That's where we're going in America.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. So, obviously, like I said, I told y'all I'm extremely loyal in everything that I do. Friends, job, gaming consoles. So, I've been stuck by the Xbox. So like, hey, everybody's going to come back one day. One day I'm going to see Hollywood on there again, see my brother, see John Bergen. I can't remember Revolution, whatever his name that I can't ever remember.
Revelation,
but you know, it's to the point now where I'm like, okay, if that's what's really going to happen, then I'll probably switch. The only thing that sucks is like I really love the Xbox controller. So, and that's
the Scuff. I think you can get a Scuff that looks like that. I mean, I'm sure you can get one.
Man, I just like the way it feels, you know, versus the PlayStation. So,
well, there's a lot going on, man. There's like with Destiny and with Anthem and all these different microtransactions. They did a funny Game Informer does a video game magazine, and on April Fools they do what they call Game Enforcer, and they just make up stupid reviews or whatever, and just stories that are funny. And so they put one out saying that EA canceled the new Star Wars game because they couldn't put enough microtransactions in it. They couldn't figure out a way to do good microtransactions.
Enough microtransactions.
Yeah, and so they canceled even though they're 80% done, which is just a lie, but people still will bite off on it. And so it just kind of shows that, and so I get it too. I got to throw this out there. Like this, we're talking about these Final Fantasy and all this. Final Fantasy was actually $80 when it came out. So a lot of people don't realize that. That was back in whatever, 93 or something.
And I mean, that was high
$93. That's really like $120.
I'm sure your grandmother was like, not even want to pay for that one.
Did you remember that story?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, she gave me extra 20 on it because I thought it was 60, and she gave me that one.
Jeez, I mean, $40 back then, man. I'd go put it on layaway at Walmart.
Yeah, I got to go put it on layaway, which don't do nothing. You still have to pay the full price.
You still got to pay for it at some point. It's like somebody was going to get that game.
You see all these movies all the time where they go, "How did you afford that?" "Oh, layaway." Everybody's like, "Yeah, layaway." And I think, you still got to pay for it.
It's no different than putting it on a credit card. You still got to pay for the whole thing.
Having to go back in the back of Walmart and we got something on layaway back there.
I remember the game Clay Fighters came out on Super Nintendo.
You had that on layaway?
I put that on layaway the day it came out because I didn't have enough money. I was like, somebody gonna get that copy. So, and I knew Kevin Jones had gone up there too. So I was like, if he's going, man, there's gonna be more gamers up there. So I'm gonna put it on layaway. It took me like a month and a half to convince my grandmother to give me some more money.
I wonder what happened to layaway. Why'd that go away?
I don't know. I think you can still do it. Like I think I saw layaway at Target. We go up in there. Hey man, let me get that layaway.
No, y'all got credit cards now. You can pay them instead of us. That's where it came from, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But these games are still $50, and now you're going to buy a brand new. I mean, how many people made Mario? Like 12 people or something. I don't know. It's $50, and then now you got Witcher 3 coming out for $50 that had 500 people working on it or something. So you got to pay all them. So they got to make money somehow. I get it, but do it there where we kind of agree, that's something we're going to pay for there, that gray area that we're willing to accept, not just make it to where, especially when you got competitive games, to where you have to pay to win if you pay enough money, right?
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
But anyway, man, that's what's up.
Man, you about got me convinced. So
it's you're not gonna have a choice. They're gonna keep force feeding it to us,
right?
And so we've always kind of, what I was getting at, I guess, with Destiny and everything is if you start to bite off on it, then they're going to say, "Hey, it's working. Let's keep going." Yeah. So we'll see what happens when they decide to come out and say we're going to release something. But as of now, I'm going with the tried and true, man.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna wait and see. But you kind of swayed me. So
we're still all getting it. Are you not going to get it even if we get it?
I'll tell you what, if y'all get it, if everybody's getting it, I'm going to get it because I'm tired of playing by myself.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm going to do right after this? I'm going to go play Skins with Zach and with Coastal, and maybe Drew will get on there.
Let me ask you a question. Does Coastal ride in the golf cart the whole time? Or does he? Okay,
he teleports to his ball, and then it did.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
So we're gonna be playing golf, and it's just fun, man. And so, that's the community of it. But I got the physical copy of the game, man, so I can play that one for a long time.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and go spend. I don't know how much the PlayStation costs now. I don't even know.
But they didn't announce the price for the 5, for the 4.
I'm talking about what does the 4 cost? Maybe I should go buy that.
Probably $300.
It's about the same. Okay.
Yeah, it's about the same. Depends on how big a hard drive you get and whatnot. You can get a Pro too. The Pro's 4K. You got a 4K TV?
Yeah.
Is that what you?
No, most of the time I actually have everything hooked up here in my office. So because I got a couple of screens here, so when I get bored, turn it on.
You just got an Xbox only?
Yeah, I've got the Xbox hooked in here. I mean, I got all my other stuff upstairs. It's in my bedroom, but
what other stuff?
Like all my Nintendo.
Okay, so I was going to ask. You have retro stuff too?
Oh yeah, man. All that stuff's upstairs. It's just we have like a little sitting room in our bedroom, and I've got it all in the cabinet up there.
Did you ever sell any of your retro stuff? I mean, I sold all my stuff and had to collect it again.
So we sold. I mean, I never sold any of it. Now, what happened to it? That's a whole different story because I don't know what happened to some of it. I know Coastal's got some of it, but like the old Nintendo, I think the Super Nintendo is actually still at my mom's house. The 64, I'm pretty sure Coastal has it. I know he has some of the games because I beat him in Mario Kart every single time we go home. The original Mario Kart, or the original one for the 64.
Yeah.
We had PlayStation. I don't know what happened to it. The original PlayStation. It's like I said, my mom did a lot of cleaning while we were in college, and Who knows? My mom, she's a nice lady, and she's pretty giving, so she probably gave it away to somebody she felt like needed it more than we did. So I don't know what happened to all of it, but she still, I still have some of the games and not the consoles. So. Yeah,
I got a TV here. It's a 720, but it has S video, and it's just still sitting here. And if we were going live doing some giveaways and stuff, and it's always right behind me, I've moved it. But I keep it around because it has S video connection. Yep. It has stuff that everything just HDMI now, and so I got an S video for the Super Nintendo, which is the same hookup as the Nintendo 64. Well, you can't play. It's just so without that, you can't even play it on our modern TV. It just looks so blurry.
Oh, exactly. I bought a right when flat screens came out. I think it was like 2004, 2005 when you started seeing them in the stores. I bought a 29-inch Westinghouse, and I was like, "Oh man, I paid like $1,300 for it." Now I could probably go scoop that up at Goodwill for like 10. But I'm gonna tell you what, that Westinghouse has been through so much. Like, it was my tailgate TV. It got rained on, everything, but it's still holding together. So I still have it, and it weighs about 1,000 pounds, and it's about like that thick. But I'm going to tell you what, it still has S video on it. So that's one of the reasons I hang on to it, because that's the only thing I can play it on. So,
well, Hyperkin is a third-party console manufacturer, and they have a prototype at E3 this year. They had a prototype Nintendo 64. So it'd be a full-up Nintendo 64 console with HDMI back, and it would just probably look super sharp. It'd be cool to do. I would definitely buy that.
But so I wonder how hard it would be to wire up an S video for just from scratch if you turn it into something else where it would work.
Well, I got
that hard.
I have a component tapes. They do, but I hadn't found one that works. You can buy there's a $300 brick essentially that you plug everything into, and it'll transfer it all into one HDMI, and it does it very good with very minimal lag. It's like $300 to $500, and that's what I guess you should get that, and you could just do all your stuff.
But if I got enough wires here,
dude,
I'll sit down there for hours trying to solder stuff together.
See that stuff back there, man. It'll catch on fire one of these days. All that wire going on, man.
Well, so I was trying to build an electrolysis unit the other day to remove some rust off some stuff here at the house, and I couldn't. And no battery charge. In our infinite wisdom with battery chargers now, you can't select the charge. So if it doesn't detect a battery, it just shuts off. So I took an old DirecTV box with a swim connector on the back, took the box apart, cut the coaxes out, rewired it with jumper cable connectors, and made an electrolysis unit putting out 18 volts so I could get all the rust off my stuff. I'm telling you, man, if I gotta make something, I'll sit there and I will mess with it until I figure something out.
Jeez. Yeah, well, I mean, so I don't know, man. You can get a Nintendo 64 sent off to modify, or you can do it yourself. It's expensive to get it modified for HDMI, but dude, would it be worth it? I don't know. If I had people nobody comes over to my house.
I wouldn't want to do it though. I wouldn't want to put it on HDMI. I love the old look, man. I think it would take away. Because I downloaded some old stuff, some old games, retro games like DuckTales, which I thought was a great game on Nintendo.
Go back and plug up your Nintendo 64 and try to play it on your flat screen. You'll be like, this ain't the way I remember it. The way that you're thinking it looked is completely different than the way that it actually looks.
Right. Well, I'm talking about, I did the digital download where they upgraded it and everything, and now it's like not even the same game anymore. So
yeah. Well, I've seen it. They do some side-by-sides. Metal Jesus Rocks does some side-by-sides on YouTube, and it looks real crisp, man. But, I don't know. Maybe the Switch will come out with some Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 games eventually that you can play online. Some kind of Mario Kart compilation or something would be great.
But, I mean, why would you want so much detail? I mean, half the fun was trying to figure out what the heck you were looking at, right? I mean, pixelated and
just put some glasses on or something that you don't supposed to see good. But
oh my gosh!
Well, cool, man. That's a lot of fun, dude. Appreciate the ad hoc podcast, dude, and just coming on here and chopping it up. I thought you'd be good for it since you're an Xbox fan.
It was fun. Like I said, you about got me convinced, so I'm just going to do it just to play with y'all. So
there you go, man. Yeah. Well, if you guys liked the Facebook live stream, let us know. We'll keep doing that. Maybe when we start to do this broadcast and recording the podcast. if you want to hear the full up podcast, just type in the H&K Video Game Experience in Google. It'll pull up on all kind of different things. Search it for us in Spotify, Podbean, Google Play, iTunes, anywhere. Castbox, there's another Podbean Addict or something. There's a lot of them I don't even know about. But we also have the YouTube channels. They'll be in the description of the podcast, whichever medium you use it to listen to. It'll be in the description there. So, well, cool. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you later. Appreciate it, Weed.
All right, thanks.